Here is a number you have probably seen. Artificial intelligence agents are now paying each other on-chain, $50 million processed, a $600 million annual run rate, 69,000 active agents. It sounds like a machine economy switching on. So let's pull that number back to its source. Independent on-chain analysts did exactly that. Strip out the wash trading, wallets paying themselves to climb leaderboards, and about 81% of the dollar volume disappears. Genuine agent commerce is closer to $1.5 million for a whole month. The single busiest seller earned about $3,000 in 30 days. So where's the edge? It isn't in agents paying each other. That market hasn't arrived. It's one layer over, where humans pay real money for the tools to build agents. Early to the story, not the product. This is the asymmetric. This is the asymmetric, a special edition, and the first in a new beat we are calling the agent economy. Tech and crypto investing for thoughtful retail from an operator's lens. The question this beat keeps asking is simple. When the headlines say agents are paying each other on-chain at scale, is anyone actually getting paid? Here's the one-line read. The boom is mostly ghost volume. The headline figures are real transaction counts, but independent analysts find about 81% of the dollar volume and half the transactions are wash trading. Strip it, and genuine agent commerce is single-digit millions for an entire month, against the 24 million the ecosystem reports. The flagship autonomous agent just shut down. And the real money is one layer over, humans paying for the tools to build agents. You'll see the same labels throughout. Confidence, high, medium, or low, consensus versus variant, what the market believes and where we differ, and what would change our mind. This is a fast-moving, poorly measured space, so every figure is stamped and uses wash-filtered data wherever we can get it. Part 1, the headline versus the chain, what the story says, and what the settlement data actually shows. The 30-second frame. 1. The pitch. Agents now transact autonomously on-chain through micropayment rails, led by Coinbase's protocol, with headline figures around $50 million in volume and 69,000 active agents. 2. The chain. Analysts who filter wash trading find genuine volume an order of magnitude smaller, single-digit millions for a whole month, with the sellers earning almost nothing. 3. The tell. The most cited autonomous agent, a yield bot that reported billions in volume, wound down and returned all funds in March. The story and the data point in opposite directions. Start with the numbers everyone quotes. Coinbase's own disclosure, about 165 million payments, 69,000 active agents, $50 million in cumulative volume, a $600 million annual run rate. Real transaction counts, but a vendor source, and a count is not commerce. Now the independent read. The analytics firm Artemis finds about half the transactions and 81% of the dollar volume. A gamed self-dealing to climb leaderboards. CoinDesk put genuine volume at roughly $28,000 a day. Wash-filtered, a month of real volume is about $1.5 million against 24 million self-reported, a 15-fold gap. The honest number is small enough that demand, not technology, is the binding constraint. And the autonomous flagship just shut down. A project called Giza ran some of the most cited fully autonomous agents on-chain, rebalancing stablecoins across lending markets to chase yield. In March, it retired them and returned all user funds. Its total value today is about $14,000. Its reported billions in volume were churn-inflated, the same dollars rebalanced over and over, and the yields were partly propped up by token incentives. As one outlet put it, this was a refinement, not evidence of explosive autonomous demand. If the best-funded autonomous agent couldn't sustain demand without subsidies, the thesis is earlier than the marketing implies. Part 2, where the real dollars are, and it isn't agents buying from agents. When agents do pay, it's pennies for data. The two buckets that actually transact are data, search and enrichment, and inference. CoinGecko sells crypto data at 1 cent a call. Zerion sells portfolio data at 1 cent a call. The median price across services is about a penny, and roughly 3/4 price at 10 cents or less. And the scale, even the single busiest seller earned about $3,000 in a month. everyone is thin. Real demand exists, it's just small and narrow. Here's where the cash actually flows. Humans buying the tools to build agents. The inference routing layer, OpenRouter, is around $50 million in annual revenue and just raised over $100 million, led by an alphabet fund. The agent search company Tavily was acquired this winter for a reported $275 million. The media generation service Freepik reports over $200 million in revenue, overwhelmingly from humans and enterprises. The buyers with money are developers and funds, not autonomous agents. What about building into the gap? The most cited missing piece is a trust and reputation layer over the rails, a way to know which agent to trust. A leading venture firm calls it the missing primitive, and a new on-chain identity standard deliberately leaves the scoring to outside builders. The gap is real, but here's what would change the read. A shipping product called Agent Zone already computes those trust scores with an interface agents can call. Across 37,000 agents, so the obvious build is no longer empty, and the only unbuilt sliver sits on a market that barely transacts. Underwrite it, don't romance it. Part 3. The operators take early to the story, not the product. So how do we read a category that disagrees with its own data? 5 points. The boom is an illusion, most of the volume is wash trading, and demand, not technology, is the missing piece. Autonomous is early, the flagship just wound down. The revenue is human, the tooling layer has real money and a real exit, agent-to-agent micropayments do not. The obvious gap is already contested. And the edge, coverage now, capital later. Be the filtered truth voice in a space full of inflated numbers, and deploy product only when the real demand curve inflects. And we keep score in public. These are the dials this beat will track. Wash-filtered volume, single-digit millions a month, mostly gamed. Transaction quality improving but on a tiny base. Top seller revenue about $3,000 a month. Autonomous agent capital, the flagship wound down. Human tooling revenue real and growing. The trust layer real but contested. And the regulatory rails, a stablecoin law is live. With market structure rules pending. Each one has a clear trigger that would tell us the machine economy is finally arriving. So where does it land? 3 things. The boom is mostly ghost volume, strip the wash trading, and genuine commerce is single-digit millions a month. The money is one layer over, humans paying for the tools, not agents paying each other. And the move is to be early to the story, not the product. Own the coverage of what's actually real, and deploy capital only when the wash-filtered demand curve inflects. The crowd is pricing a machine economy the chain says hasn't arrived. That gap is the edge, and it's the beat. This is research, not personalized advice. Verify it yourself. We'll see you in the next edition.